mistake? I mean, what do you think are off with this tonight?
I believe that's why they give you 60 minutes. You know, it's the cardiac Cougs. There's no quitting our football team. There's a lot of grit, a lot of heart, a lot of passion. And I can't give them that, Greg. Okay, that comes from within. That comes from the team. It comes from the leaders. There's no die. I mean, it was what, 14-26, right? And they came back. They kept believing. We've done it before. We do it again. And real proud of our football team tonight.
What you make of John's game tonight?
Well, I think it was really good late. And I think at the end of the day, that's what everyone will remember. We started off pretty good. Just have some tons of lulls this season in the third quarter, especially offensively. And we did a lot of things that would have led to losing, right? I mean, not converting on fourth downs, two special teams where we give away possessions, defense not communicating and giving up some big yardages when we had some good stuff to get some stops. But we found a way, and really proud of this team.
Coach, there were a ton of momentum swings in this game. Where did it go right for you guys in the fourth quarter, or when do you think there was that turning point?
Well, man, that's a good question. You know, I would say when we scored in like 3 plays. I think Carlos had the big scramble. John getting out of that sack at one point, whenever that was just a phenomenal football play. And then it was like, okay, we believe in our defense was just in some weird situations, gave up some big plays, did good in the red zone, then didn't. But in that fourth quarter, it slanted our way, and really good job to get a big first down there at the end. And then, you know, obviously the final scenario was a little hectic, but you know, found a way to win.
Go ahead.
What's the big picture for this team at 7-1? I know you guys are always one game at a time, but you're going into November now, 7-1.
Yeah. Well, we just talked about in there as a big 3-game stretch. This was the middle 8 of the season, and all 3 of those games were ugly but good. We came away 3-0 in this October stretch, which was huge for us. You know, now we go into another bye week 7-1 and have the ability to get rested and refocused and have an accelerated finish that we've all talked about. But we got to have urgency, right? We got to have urgency in everything we do, and there's times when you see it and you feel it and it shows what we're capable of doing. And there's times when we don't have it. So I got to solve that over the next couple of weeks so we play a complete 60 minutes because no one's going to give us anything, especially on the road.
Victory formation on a Southern California football field isn't something you guys are used to in a long time. How was that for you?
Yeah, I told the team that. It's been a long, long time. There's a lot of things I think that go into that, from who you're playing to how you're playing to being back in front of family. But these guys can be proud. Their family got to see a really gutsy win, and we'll take them all no matter how they come.
One more, if you don't mind me hogging the balls. Playing in San Diego, this new Pac-12 coming up in a couple of years. You guys recruit heavily, apparently, in the whole state and Southern California.
Yeah.
What does a win like this specifically, just a presence in Southern California, mean?
Well, I think it just means for recruiting, like, Wazoo's here to stay. We got a strong brand on the West Coast, and it's resonated throughout this whole class. Obviously, we let 5 of those teams in as equals, and that's different, so you got to stay ahead of them. But to stay ahead of them, you got to invest more than they do. And I think that's the biggest thing that we got to continue to do as Cougs.
Coach, talk a little bit about the emotion of the game. It was apparent on TV that you were really fired up.
I was really fired up, and I just apologized to Dean in there. In all situations, I got to keep my cool too. I can't get mad at Dean for not keeping his cool and getting a personal foul if I can't keep my cool right back. So they should have thrown a flag on me in that situation. So I apologize to Dean. I was, off my skis, obviously very emotional, and that's not a good place to coach from.
What was your read on the last sequence when John almost doesn't get a first down, but you have to measure it? Like, what was kind of your read on how that went down?
Well, my read is that the side judge on our side pushed the first down, and then I guess the guy on the other side brought it back a little bit. Then they checked it and moved it, and then they measured it. I mean, it was just a hell of a sequence, but it all ended up to being a first down Cougs.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about the defense? I think Dinboo had a great game, Thornton, and then Buda, of course, getting that pick. I mean, I feel like they had good stops.
This was by far back-to-back games where Ansel Dinboo, I thought, was unblockable. And I think that's great to see. He's really accelerated his game. And then obviously Buda with the big play. If you need to make a big comeback, there's going to be those moments. And the San Jose game there was one, and obviously this game there was one, and that was huge. And great call by Jeff there, but great execution by the defense to get the ball back when it looked like we were about to go down 8 to get that pick. And then offense to play great football and go down and score that thing, I think was huge. And Obviously, a 2-point conversion wasn't exactly how we drew it up, but we got it, and a lot of positives there.
Well, I mean, the wide receivers, from either throwing it to catching it to whatever. I mean, I think the craziest play was Carlos Hernandez trying to get that ball over the goal line and scoring.
Yeah.
I mean, how good is this wide receiver core?
Well, I think the best is still yet to come. I think there's some times when we're still kind of sorting that out, even 8 games into the season. So Carlos being back in the mix is a big plug. We got to find still more ways to get Kyle Williams the ball. I thought our rack was really good tonight. We just didn't have a lot of the big explosive plays, I think, for 2 weeks in a row. So we got to go back to the drawing board and figure that out a little bit.
You talked a little bit about the emotions. I mean, I'm pretty sure this crowd probably helped you out too with all these Southern California Cougs down here. I mean, what did they bring to this game?
I mean, it was awesome. It felt like at times we had more fans than they did. On some third downs, you could hear it. But every time we get an opportunity in someone else's stadium to sing the school song like that, that's hard work. And there's a lot of people that go into that. Coaches, players, trainers, administration, everyone. I'm just really proud of this football team. And heck, we're 7-1. It doesn't matter how it happened. We're 7-1.
Quinn comes out with a boot, any update on this?
I really got to find out yet. I know he's emotional too because he's from San Diego and he wanted to play this football game in a really bad way. So we'll have to see what that says.
And then it seemed like a few minutes ago you greet John from off the field, and then Dr. thinks that tells you something about John. Maybe what was that all about?
No. He's telling me about all these guys. So I'll get you the information when it comes about.
Last question for me, Coach. When you talk about going into a bye week, are you staying in Pullman? Are you handing out candy to trick-or-treaters? What are you doing for this bye week?
Well, I looked at the forecast and it might snow on Thursday. So, I said on the radio show this week, I put pressure on my wife. I said full-size candy bars. So she's got to deliver now. That's not on me. That's on her.
Could I get one quick thought on what you're seeing in the Mountain West team so far that you guys have played?
Well, I mean, obviously very competitive, and we've been in the most competitive environments. We've been in Boise, we've been in Fresno, we've been down here at San Diego State. I got a lot of respect for the league just because I've been in for 3 years, and the margins for victory are always super small, and you gotta have the ability to come out and bring it every night. So respect for that league, and obviously the top of that league is coming to the Pac-12, and excited about the real challenge that's going to be. I know we got one more to add. But, man, that's going to be a slugfest when you go throughout 8 of those conference games.
Buddha kind of disguised his blitz on that pick. He kind of showed blitz and backed off and his position to make that pick. How much are you guys trying to get kind of creative with the blitzes? How does that kind of also like that?
Well, I think Jeff did a good job this week. That was something new, a little bit more of an extra drop so we could get a little bit more width. They really ran that same play, that 3-by-1, either throw the bubble based on numbers or run slant. I mean, it had to be 40 times tonight. And for Buddha to get in that window in that moment was huge, and obviously made a big play.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys, go Cougs.